In this video, I'm going to show you how to install MySQL and PHP for your development machine. And I'm going to do this in a Windows environment. So let's start by getting the files. So open my browser and look for MySQL Community Server. Go to download MySQL Community Server. And the version we're going to install is the 5.7. So I select that one. And then go to the download page. And here we have the two versions of the same installer. One is the web installer and one is the complete download. I'm going to choose the complete download. And now they want us to sign up, but under here we can just start my download. This download is pretty big, 355 megabytes. So I have prepared and already downloaded it. So I go to my downloads folder, and here I have my MySQL installer community. So I start up the installer. I'm running this on a virtual machine, so it's a bit slow. Yes. Yes. And then accept the license terms and click next. And we're going to select a, let's see if server only. No, I want to do a custom install. So I want the server, and I want the 64-bit version of the server. And then I also want the MySQL shell. And that's it. Next. And now we need to download some Visual C++ libraries. So I click execute. And it's going to download it and then start the installer. This one, the 2015 version, is also needed for the PHP to run. So here we have the first one. I agree and install. Close. Then it downloads the second one. Agree and install. Close and then next. So we have our two products to install, the server and the shell. So I click execute to install. And there we go. Next. And now it's time to configure the server. So I just click next. We're going to run it as a standalone server. The port for the server is the standard port, but since I'm not going to access this MySQL server from outside this computer, I don't need to open the firewall for that. Account, I just type in a password. And next, I want to run it as a service, and I want it to start when Windows starts. No. And then execute to apply the configuration. And now the configuration is done and we can click Finish. So the configuration is complete. Click Next. And I don't want to start the shell after setup. So I click Finish. So now the MySQL server is running as a service on our computer. And to manage this server, to create databases and so on, we're going to be using a program called HeidiSQL. So I just do a Google search for HeidiSQL. Found it here. It's a freeware, and it can, I think it can access more than just MySQL databases. It automatically started the Windows installation download, but as you saw earlier, I have already downloaded it, and now I have 3 versions of it. So let's just start the setup. Yes, I accept. Next, next. Yes. Report client and server version, no. And then install. And we can launch the program after we click Finish. And here we can see that it works with MySQL, Microsoft SQL, and PostgreSQL. So I click Finish. And now we create a new session. Call it local MySQL. The local IP is okay, and root is already the username. And then I enter my password. And then I click Open. And now I can see the standard MySQL databases. The information schema, MySQL, performance schema, and sys. So we know that our MySQL is up and running. So let's continue to PHP. So I do a Google search for PHP and Windows, and there is a site called windows.php.net. And then I go to the downloads section, and there is some different versions of the PHP binary files, the files that you can run without compiling them. We're going to select this one, the VC15 64-bit non-thread safe. I'll click on that to download it. But I have also already downloaded that one as well. So I right click on it and select extract, and I want to extract it to a folder that is easily found. So I just extract it to C:\PHP, and then I click extract, and then just wait for the extraction to complete. There we go, and it also opened the folder. What we need to do now is to have a settings file, an ini file for this PHP installation, and the zip file contained 2 different ini files, one for development and one for production, and we're going to use the one for development. So I'm just going to rename this one, remove the -development, and yes, I want to change it. And now the files are there, but we also have to add a path in Windows so it's accessible from wherever we are with our console. To do that, we go to Control Panel. I do a search for Control Panel, and in the Control Panel I do a search for environment variables, And here I have edit the system environment variables, and I go to the system properties, and there I have to click environment variables again. And the one that we are looking for is the path. This is where Windows looks for application when we try to run something. And there is one for the current user, that's Michael, and one that's for all the users on the system. But I'm just going to add it to my user. So I select edit and new, and then I type in c:\php and press OK. And OK, and OK, and close this one down. You can close this one as well. And to make sure this works, we're going to start a console window. So I type in cmd to find the command prompt. And then I write php-v, and that is supposed to show the version of the PHP that I have installed. So I have PHP 7.2.5 installed. So that's all fine. So now we have MySQL and PHP. The last thing that we're going to install is a package manager for PHP that's called Composer. So I open my browser and write in get composer, and the URL is getcomposer.org. I go there. You see here it's a dependency manager for PHP. So I click download and Windows installer. Just download and run Composer setup. I click that one. It's a small one, so that one I don't. Yeah, let's run that one. Yes. Next. And it has found my command line PHP. And Composer needs to change something in our php.ini file. So let's allow that. Click next. I don't use any proxy servers. And then install. So what I need to do now to check that this one is working is open a new command window, because I think this Composer installation has updated the path, and the path is not updated in command prompts that are already open. So go to the start menu, type in cmd, and then type Composer. And then we can see that we have an application here. So now we have the runtime files to run PHP and MySQL, and we also have the package manager Composer.